Zen. Tonight's Dharma talk is given by Myung-Jin and San.
I wanted to start with something from one of our recent ancestors, Gong. It is extremely difficult to get a human body, so don't waste the opportunity to practice hard. Once you miss the chance, it will be very difficult to get it again. If you don't attain enough strength in your practice, only your karma will remain when you die. Time is of the utmost importance for a Zen practitioner. Don't waste even one moment. If you have one mind, even at that time, you can get enlightenment. As I said, Zen Master Gong, 20th century, beginning of the 20th century. Now, we've got, also in our lineage, of course, is Zen Master Sung-san, and his enlightenment story is that he went off onto a mountain and chanted the great dharani for 100 days straight. And he subsisted on ground up pine needles for his food. And he came back down the mountain, and his teacher, Kobang, checked him. Apparently he, as many of us do, had an issue with the Kongan about the cat bowl being broken and the mouse eating the cat food. Apparently it took him a few shots to get through that one, but he eventually did, and Kobang verified that he was indeed qualified to be a full-fledged Zen teacher, and he was 21 years old at that time. That was some hard practice. I don't think I would be able to manage going up onto a mountain, eating pine needles, and chanting 16 to 18 hours a day to the beat of the muktak. I'm thinking I might have a hard time with that. And I think that would be the case for most of us, probably. We're all householders in our own way, right? None of us are living in a monastery. None of us are living in a grass-roofed hut on top of a mountain. We have responsibilities to ourselves and to the others around us for providing food, shelter, etc. We've got things that we might need to do. And if our practice, if our awakening was totally dependent upon things like going to the top of a mountain, chanting 18 hours a day, and eating pine needles, I don't think there would be much of a point, right? That's hard practice. That's hard practice. That is hard practice. Layman Pong, whom you may be able to discern from his name, was a layman during the Tang Dynasty in China. And much like the rest of us, he had a wife, he had a daughter. He did take all of his possessions, of which apparently there were plenty, and dump them into a river. But Still, he was not ordained. He was not a monk. He was not a priest. He was just a guy who had fewer things than he started with and a wife and a daughter. So one day, the layman, musing on life and practice, uttered these words of wisdom. "Oh, difficult, difficult, difficult. It's like trying to scatter 10,000 sesame seeds over a tree." The wife turned right around and retorted, "Oh, easy, easy, easy. It's like touching your feet to the ground when you get out of bed." And the daughter, not to be outdone, immediately she said, "Not difficult, not easy. On the tips of 10,000 grasses, the patriarchs' meaning." What kind of patriarch's meaning can we find on the tips of grass? If you find that, you will get the true dharma eye. And that bit came from, the last bit came from Song San. The rest of it was, the collection of Layman Pang sayings. So, Gong says to practice hard. Song San said, well, he did practice hard, and he's saying that on the tips of 10,000 blades of grass is the patriarch's meaning. So where does that leave us? I mean, if we're only practicing for the point of, getting enlightenment, then we're at a distinct disadvantage. We'd better start chanting Namu Amida Bul so we get reborn in that pure land to the west, because it ain't happening this go-round. Better luck next time, kid. Another thing that Sung San would say is, don't make hard or easy. Don't make good or bad. If you make hard, you get hard. Make easy, you get easy. Now, you would think that, easy would be good. I could get down with that. Thing is, human nature is such that, if something is too hard, then we don't want to do it because it would take too much effort, and we're kind of inherently lazy when you get down to it. We would like things handed to us on the proverbial silver platter, and on the other hand, the things that are too easy that are handed to us on the proverbial silver platter are sometimes not valuable to us. If it comes too easy, it has no real strong meaning a lot of times. You think that if it's easy, then, I don't really need to shoot 10 hours of foul shots a day. I can just go out and shoot a couple and I'm good. I'll get my 80% and it's just fine. The daughter says, Layman Pang's daughter, that is, says, not hard, not easy. And then there's that bit about the patriarch's words on 10,000 blades of grass. Okay. So Layman Pang thinks it's hard. His wife comes in with, it's easy. What are you talking about? And then the daughter comes in with, not hard, not easy. So, if we make hard we get hard. If we make easy, we get easy. But we have those qualifications about not bothering, being lazy, and not bothering because it's too easy. It's not any value to us. So Sun Tzu would say, don't make anything. Don't make good and bad. Don't make hard and easy. Don't make anything. You might think to yourself, okay, what does that mean exactly? And in this case, it means that whatever hard or easy that we create is from our thinking. It comes from between those two ears. If we think it's hard, we're making it hard. If we think it's easy, we're making it easy. If we don't make anything, then the realm of possibilities is wide open. We're not excluding anything. We're not putting any value judgments on anything. So let's go back to Gong for a minute there. And he says it's hard to be human. It's hard to get a human body in those 6 realms of existence that we talked about last week. Don't waste the opportunity to practice hard. So what the hell? Gong, he's, got a pretty good pedigree there. He was Sun Tzu's teacher, after all, teacher of teacher. So let's play with the words a little bit. Let's think of it as not hard practice, but diligent practice. Let's think of it as practicing with great determination. Diligence, of course, is one of those things that you may have heard about in Buddhism. Virya. So if we think of it as determined practice, diligent practice, dedicated practice, instead of hard practice. And if we think of it as simple rather than easy, like putting your feet on the floor when you get out of bed. It's simple. You could say it's easy too, but let's use the word simple. We'll use the word diligence, and we use the word simple. And that way we're not making good and bad. We're not making hard or easy. We are practicing with diligence, which leads us to the point where everything becomes simple.